Oh, yeah. Wait, what is your James Charles tea?
Block me then, fatty.
Hey, what is up, you guys? It's Dustin, and I'm back with another video. And in this video, I want to talk about quite a few things. I want to talk about Trisha Paytas. I want to talk about Ashton Kutcher. I want to talk about Drew Barrymore and Kamala Harris.
We need you to be Kamala of the country.
There's a lot of things that I want to talk about. So if you're here for that, stay tuned to this video. Okay, so I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the drama channels, and I mean the drama channels that I talk to, like, we're all obsessed with Trisha Paytas. And it's really kind of like in the best way, because Trisha Paytas is not really problematic as she used to be. And I feel like that's worth commending, because we've seen Trisha Paytas go from being super problematic to actually trying to redeem herself. Now, I'm not saying that she's addressed every single thing that she's done, but I do think that she's made leaps and bounds and shown the world that she's tried to clean up her act, that she's not that girl that'll sit in her kitchen and sit down and make a video and expose you. Now, you guys know I've made my fair share of exposed videos, so I relate to Trisha on a deeper level. But what I'm saying is, if you look back at Trisha Paytas' history from everything in the early 2000s up until now, like, she's not being problematic like Jeffree Star. She's not out here arguing with every Tom, Dick, and Harry that throws shit her way. She's not like James Charles. She's not out here texting minors. And I just think that it's really cool that she's come full circle in her YouTube career, and where she's at a point where she's like actually making connections with people that are good connections, because her co-host Oscar is really good for her. And while I liked Frenemies, I like this dynamic a lot better. I don't like seeing two people at odds with one another 24/7. And I'll just share the tweet that I put out today. It said, "I'ma say it, y'all can hate on Trisha Paytas all you want, but unlike 99.999% of social media influencers, I believe she's really put in the work to become a better person. Seeing how much her and Moses love and care for Malibu warms my heart so much. I knew she would be a great mom." And I bring all that up to tell you guys, I really do think that I'm psychic, and I don't think I've ever talked about this before, but I have accurately predicted quite a few things. I predicted a lawsuit between Nathan and Jeffree Star. If you go back on my Twitter, it was there before anybody was talking about it, before it was ever released or seen the light of day. But I remember back in November of 2017, I tweeted out the following. I said, "I had a nightmare last night. Trisha Paytas finally found a great man that treats her how he should, and they got married and moved to Malibu, but she quit YouTube." Now, I didn't get everything right, but Trisha Paytas ended up getting married, which is something we didn't think would happen for a while. No shade at all when I say that, but she ended up having a daughter named Malibu. So look at me being a psychic. But I was actually just watching the Just Trish podcast, and her and Oscar were talking about James Charles, and they really didn't have too many good things to say, so I wanted to react to that, because I do think that this whole redemption arc that Trisha has made for herself is kind of working, and I'm glad that she's still holding James Charles accountable, unlike many people.
Well, James Charles started calling people fat, okay? That's just like not the move.
And then the second half of that too, this was the whole discourse, was
What?
Again on TikTok Live, he was really pushing going uncanceled, and I was like,
wait, James Charles?
Yes. He's like, yeah, I think we're in the works. I'm like, girl, I don't think it's in the works, honey. Like, I don't
really.
Yeah, I don't think.
I mean,
I know the show's called Canceled, but damn,
he might be too canceled for that. I don't know. I actually don't know their relationship with James.
Criminal,
but
the podcast, it's
criminal. He's really trying to make the podcast rounds, I feel.
Like, I could understand James Charles wanting to go on a podcast named Canceled, because he's effectively been canceled for a while now, but the optics of that would be so bad, considering that that's Tana's podcast, and Tana has been on and off like a light switch when it comes to James Charles. Because if you remember, she defended James Charles against Gage, and then she befriended Gage, and then she got rid of her friendship with Gage, and now she's friends with James Charles because they like reconnected last year at Coachella. I just think that the optics of that would be terrible, but Tana really doesn't care about what people think about her anyway, and at the end of the day, we shouldn't, but she should care that she's associated with somebody like James Charles, that she is associated with James Charles, because that's not a connection that I would ever want my name attached to, like, ever. And you know, Tana was one of the people going around saying that James Charles hurts kids. Let's not forget that, because Tana was spearheading that for a bit.
I'm desperate.
James Charles is so interesting because he is still so popular, but he doesn't really, like, he wants to go on, right? Obviously, he's like trying to get on podcasts, but like no one really has him. They don't really collab with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting.
It is.
They know.
And I mean, he's released a song.
Oh, maybe that's what he's trying to promote. He's trying to.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to get on that canceled podcast, though. That is the It podcast. I love them.
But yeah, I think just too far canceled, I think. I mean, watch him be on it next week. After all this.
I know, for sure. I think like I would kind of live for James if he, like you said, wasn't.
Totally. Me
awful.
too. I mean, even before, I thought he was like just so, I mean, he's just so like out there that it's like, you kind of live, it's kind of camp. You know?
Like his ass out at Coachella. I was like, okay, that's cute. And even like,
I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with you, Trisha. Nobody wanted to see that razor burn. If you remember Coachella when James Charles was showing his ass to everybody, that was not cute. That, like, on the scale of cute, that does not even register. You can tell that Trisha's trying to say nice things here, that she's very uncomfortable. I don't even think she wants to talk about James Charles, and I don't blame her. I'd want to stay away from his ass too.
What is even the fatty line would be cute if it wasn't from James. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of funny, but then I'm like, oh, it's like James, you know what I mean?
And I pointed this out before. I believe that James Charles is trying to copy HRH Collection. He's trying to be funny. He's trying to be cute. He's trying to get one-liners in on people because nothing else works. He's trying humor, and it's just not funny coming from him. It doesn't land. Like, he can't land a man.
And it's like, I can't get past... I think that's the thing. I just can't get past people who like just don't own up to like stuff they've done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's like, that's what's annoying. It's like that whole uncanceled like article and stuff. It just like drives me nuts. I'm like, why can't you just admit that like I effed up? You know what I mean? Not delete the video because he admitted it and then deleted the video and then act like, why am I canceled? And it's like, okay, like just own up to it. Be like, yeah, I've been canceled. This sucks. Let me try and like.
And the like mental gymnastics, like, he focuses on the ones where I guess like the guys did probably like lie, or whatever. But I mean, there's other. It's like he nitpicks which ones that you're addressing, and it's like the ones where I guess like yes, you were. Technically, it's still your fault, but we can kind of see the explanation when like they're lying to you, or whatever. But I mean, it still is kind of your fault because you're like they obviously look young, But,
stay away from the young ones.
But then there's so many other ones that you don't address at all.
Yeah,
and I love the Oscars bringing this up because James Charles will turn himself into a victim like no other. I remember watching the clips a year after all this happened when James Charles was still riding high on No More Lies, thinking to myself, like, this motherfucker is going to get away with this. And he still, to this day, has gotten away from it. I mean, not entirely. He still has people that are going to call him out to the end of time. Me. But ultimately, he's unfazed by it. He has all this money. He's made all these friends. And there's people that are not going to turn their back on James Charles because that also means money in their bank account, network and connections for their brands and things like that. Look at Manny and Laura. I mean, even look at JoJo Siwa. She was out here with her predator pale and she was happy about it.
I am so talented. Are you fucking kidding me? Wait, oh my literal god.
And yeah, I mean, like some of the guys probably did suck, like some of the like straight ones that let him on. I do believe that. Like,
of course, yeah.
Like I do believe that he is correct about some of them, but the problem is I believe you're wrong about
a lot of them, and we know this because you talked about it. You're like, oh man, I should have known, or I should have done this, or it's like, yeah, you should have. Yeah. Always do the age check.
It's such a mind thing though, because he is still so popular, but it's also like I was thinking about it too. I was like, I think part of it too is the fact that yes, he is an effeminate gay man, but he's still a man. So you still also have that, like, and the victims, like the alleged victims or whatever, are also men. So like male victims in general aren't taken as serious.
Exactly, that's what it is, right? It's like yeah, right.
And I'm going to scream this to the rooftops to the end of time. A lot of people forget that James Charles was changing his gender on Tinder, trying to make himself look like a woman to straight men. He was doing this and got caught by other YouTubers. I even made a video about this back in the day. And see, this is why James Charles is never going to be uncanceled, because he has so much shit. People will forget little things here and there, but the big things they're not going to forget. And I feel like this is a big thing. Anybody that would change their gender on Tinder to try to connect with a straight man and you're a man, that's a problem.
It's so, it's like you forget because he is so like femme presenting in a lot of ways that he still does have like male privilege.
Right. No, for sure. I think that's a very big thing. I think you're right. Because it's also, it just got brushed over so easily. But if it was like a man,
with a girl victim,
a straight guy with a girl like that was like underage and doing that stuff, like that would be like, all hell break loose,
Baby
you know?
reindeer tease.
Yeah.
Now we need to talk about Ashton Kutcher. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you already know I'm talking about the tweets that I put out today because I had an idea to do a video like addressing my tweets and just talk about the tweets that I put out, but I didn't know if that would land properly. If you guys are into that and me making that like a series here, I would so be down for that. But now let's talk about Ashton Kutcher. Okay, so before we get into what I retweeted, I want to talk about how weird I think it is that Ashton Kutcher is always related to people that are either murdered or are in trouble. Because I remember at one point in time, I believe he said he was best friends with P. Diddy. They were talking about jogging together and how they bonded over that and their like fitness journey or whatever.
We became fast friends, and we used to just hang out and watch football together. Like, whatever. And he came over, and I was like, I'm going for a run. He's like, oh, I'll go for a run with you. And so he comes over to go for a run. About halfway through the run, he's like, yo, I'm running out of gas right now. But we had like paparazzi all around us at the time. He's like, you got to slow down and make it look like you're not slowing down. Because I don't want to look like I'm not going to be able to finish this thing. And he was losing it, right? Like he was like me right now with the wings and the heat starting to kick up. And he's like, so we finish out the run. And then he was so upset over the fact that he got skunked on this run. That year, he decided to run the New York Marathon. And so he just started immediately training for the New York Marathon.
I like that. Bounce back.
Well, he just can't lose. Even when he's that close to humility, that like it becomes a driver. And so then he went out and ran the New York Marathon.
So I'm looking at him sideways now because of that. And there was also headlines a few weeks ago how he was like afraid he may get subpoenaed in this P. Diddy case. But do you guys remember when he had to testify in court because this girl that he was going to go on a date with just mysteriously wound up dead? And he said that he thought that the stains in the floor that he's seen through the window were red wine. Do you guys remember that?
This morning, all eyes on Ashton Kutcher, the Hollywood heartthrob, now turned star witness in the so-called Hollywood Ripper trial. Kutcher, appearing on the stand Wednesday sporting a mustache and dressed in a blue suit, describes the night 18 years ago when his friend and romantic interest, Ashley Ellerin, was stabbed 47 times. Kutcher says the two had plans to meet for a drink that evening, but when Ashley didn't answer his calls, he swung by the house and tells the jury, I knocked on the door, there was no answer. Knocked again, and once again, no answer. He adds, at this point, I pretty well assumed she had left for the night and that I was late and she was upset. Ashton testifies that when he went to Ellerin's house, all the lights were on, adding, it was a little bit of a mess. I saw what I thought was red wine spilled on the carpet, adding, I didn't really think anything of it. Police now believe that red wine was really blood. Prosecutors say the 22-year-old model and fashion student was likely already dead, killed allegedly by this man, Michael Gargiulo, a neighborhood air conditioner repairman.
So I say all that to say this. I have always been very skeptical of Ashton Kutcher. I did used to watch him on Punk'd, and ironically enough, that is what I tweeted out today because it always comes across my feed every once in a while. There is an old clip of Ashton Kutcher on Punk'd talking about Hillary Duff and the Olsen twins and how he can't wait till they turn 18.
Hillary Duff is in Lizzie McGuire. She also has an album out. She's going to be in a movie called Cheaper by the Dozen. And she's one of the girls that we're all waiting for to turn 18, along with the Olsen twins.
It's very much giving Predator. So every time this comes across my feed, I always retweet it. So I said, please remember this when Ashton Kutcher is brought up with conversations regarding P. Diddler. And if you guys don't know what's going on with P. Diddy, they're about to throw the book at that man. I feel like everybody in Hollywood is waiting on it. That man is toast. And honestly, this whole clip, when you think about everything else I showed you and how they defended Danny Masterson, like, I don't even understand how Ashton Kutcher still has fans. So I thought this was all worth talking about. But now we have to talk about Drew Barrymore. And this one pains me because I love the idea of Drew Barrymore and what I thought she was, and what she is and what I thought she was are two different things, you guys. So we have to talk about what she did today on this show because it is so cringe. I would even say extreme cringe. So I am not a TV watcher by any means. The way that I consume media is through YouTube, TikToks, Instagram, things like that. So I don't watch TV hardly at all. We have a TV, but it's not even plugged up. But apparently Drew Barrymore has a talk show and she had Kamala Harris on and it was super cringe. Now I want to say before we get into this, I really used to like Drew Barrymore. I'm a hardcore millennial. I loved E.T. I love Charlie's Angels. And in my mind, Drew Barrymore is who she was in Charlie's Angels, and that's just not the case because apparently on this show, she makes people feel weird. They say she doesn't really know personal space, but today she said something about Kamala Harris that kind of made everybody cringe.
I've been thinking that we really all need a tremendous hug in the world right now. But in our country, we need you to be Kamala of the country.
Girl, what the does that even mean? Did you even think for 2 seconds? No, I know you didn't think for 2 seconds before that came out of your mouth because you would not have said that. But this did not translate well for me. It didn't make me laugh. It just came across as very cringe, like she was trying to say something hip, cute, and fun. And honestly, I feel like I'm to the point where I think people do shit like this to try to distract people from talking about other things because they look so stupid. Like 0 out of 10 would not recommend. But I want to know what you guys think about this because I'm new to this whole thing with Drew Barrymore having a show, and apparently people talk about her a lot. I kind of thought about doing a video about her because I have always been interested in her and her like whole background and acting. But you guys let me know what you think about this down below. Also, don't forget to let me know your thoughts and opinions down below about Trisha Paytas and Oscar talking about James Charles. I'm glad that they're kind of keeping all that information relevant. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts and opinions on Ashton Kutcher and that whole situation because him saying that on Punk'd all those years ago really did not age well. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, and if you made it this far in the video, leave me the fire emoji because I'm feeling a little bit spicy. But with all that said, you guys, I hope you all have an amazing day, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.